let's do the pulse and blood pressure. Thanks, Miss. That's great. 17 times 4. Last time you were able to go walking again, which is great, and function shopping. Are you back to normal functioning now, would you say?
Yes, other than the recent
bout
fatigue
of fatigue
thing,
post stomach thing.
I've been great, just fine walking. Didn't even have to think about it as an issue anymore.
Good, that's how it should be.
Yeah, I know. Christmas I went on walks as usual.
That's great. So no more having to think about walking, which is important. Perfect. Thank you.
Hello. Nice to see you again.
Likewise. Right. How have you been?
Been good, yeah, quite good.
Okay, good. All right. Well, we'll get into it in a minute. Just get some water.
Thank you.
You like almonds?
Yes.
Good, because I've added a bit of almond flavouring to the water. Just makes it a bit less boring.
Oh, I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah, it's a little, it's a very, very easy party trick of mine to make water less boring. All right, so last time, yeah, it's all right, isn't it?
It's really nice.
It's sort of like a little bit Battenberg cakey.
It is. It's like a dessert.
Yeah, I really like it. It's super easy. Anyway, right, last time I saw you, it was in November, and I think you got, I think it was just it was a slightly adjusted herbal tincture from me in January for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So just to start off with, when did you finish that tincture?
Probably about 2 weeks ago. Was it 2 weeks? No, maybe more like a week ago.
Okay.
It was quite recent.
Okay, that makes sense because you got it in mid-January, so it was 3 weeks worth, so it might have lasted you 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, I was a lot better this time at having it, even if I did the meals wrong and stuff like that. So
excellent. So tincture. And did you receive it? Can you remember when you received it? Was it sort of towards the end of January?
Yes, it would have been because it was after the Christmas
that makes
holidays.
sense. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Finished, but you managed to take it most of the time twice daily.
Yeah, I think I've slowly got more used to the taste now. So.
It doesn't get any tastier, does it? But well done, good. All right. So, what's your overview? Because you say you're feeling good generally.
Yeah.
Are you still getting any headaches?
No headaches, no, not at all.
Excellent. That's very good. So none at all, because I think last time you were still getting about once a week or once every 2 weeks, so that's great. Had they cleared up already by January? Because you'd obviously...
Yes, I think so. They haven't happened this year since I've been at work.
Can't credit the tincture then, so that's good. But that's good. That's great. As long as they've cleared up, it doesn't matter. Already resolved by January. Excellent. And you did say just before we started recording that your holidays have been good, so...
Yeah, I got a lot of rest. I think I had about 2 weeks or so off, and it was just really nice to not have the stress. Yeah, just deflated.
That's great. So just 2 weeks off, and was that sort of just until the first week of January or something?
Yeah, somewhere around there. I think I went back like the 6th or something, maybe 7th. Yeah.
Okay, that's normal.
Yeah.
So the next thing would be just the fatigue. So you said last time you were still getting a few bouts of tiredness, I think, with a bit of just occasionally feeling sick, although we thought that might be the green tea. How have both of those things been?
The green tea I definitely confirmed is like when I do have it occasionally now, I do get like the buzzes or like I seem a bit drunk almost. It's very weird.
There is a phrase called tea drunk. Actually, it's a thing. There's a channel called Mayleaf. It's the shop. There's a shop called Mayleaf in Camden. They have a YouTube channel, and he reviews different teas and green teas. He calls it tea drunkenness. They can give you a bit of a buzz and a bit heady. People have different sensitivities. Some people get nothing, but other people get actually a bit.
That's so good to hear, because like when I used to have it, I must have had quite a strong tolerance because I was having it every day, and I'd never felt buzzy or anything. It just felt like it took away my morning like foggy mind.
Yes.
But now, because I have it so rarely, I do
You
feel
really
like
notice it.
I really notice it.
Some people really like that feeling. So.
I don't. I really don't. It makes
not good. Okay,
No.
so because I think we talked about last time about not having it on an empty stomach and not doubling up with the chocolate. Did that help?
I did. Yeah, I try to have it still before lunch, but make sure I've definitely had a yogurt or something before.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So that resolved that nausea. What about the fatigue generally? Any tiredness?
It's not entirely gone.
Ooh.
I think it comes in waves, and the one time I've had it quite bad was recently. I had like a tummy bug at the start of February, but like literally a few days afterwards, it was like all the fatigue symptoms came back.
Okay.
And I remembered what you said, something about like inflammation in the body, and it really did feel like that lined up with it. That
it was just that extra bit of physical stress had re-triggered that initial.
Because it hasn't been back since.
Good.
So
I think that's okay. It is a bit like it's like a non-linear recovery curve, and any time you get anything that will push up your level of physical inflammation a little bit, whether that be eating a bit of too much like deep fried food, or just doing some heavy exercise, or an illness, that might just temporarily re-trigger those post-COVID-y symptoms, but each time it should get milder because your body's returning more and more towards its normal baseline. So that makes sense.
Good.
How long did that fatigue last for?
Gosh, about a week. And I was out of action for that weekend.
So 1 week. And was that 1 week of continuous tiredness? Or?
No, it got better each day.
Okay.
But just felt like my body was like lead, and I didn't really want to go anywhere.
Okay,
got it. Good, because I had no plans that weekend.
So that worked out at least.
It did,
1 week low energy, slowly improved. All right. So. Good, no headaches, a little bit of tea. Tell me a little bit about the tummy bug, as in like when you say tummy bug, feeling sick, or did you feel sick? Any nausea?
I did have a bit of nausea, I could only seem to eat crackers.
That's normal.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I didn't really want tea or anything like too many liquids either.
Sure.
So I was just having cracker bread and butter and.
Butter?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Still put butter on it. Here's a tip, when your tummy's upset, just stay away from fatty stuff. Crackers, the acronym is BRAT, bananas, rice, apples, tea and toast. BRAT, bananas, rice, apples, tea and toast. For some reason, they all seem to be pretty good. I feel like intuitively, I always end up having apples and crackers and bananas.
They're
so
all
it's
kind
weird
of
that the body knows.
Yeah. Not so much butter. Stay away from butter. I mean, it makes crackers tastier. Yes.
It does. It's just crackers. It's quite sad.
I know, it is a bit sad, isn't it? But I tell you one. So you got that tummy bug. How many days were things off for?
About 4, until it was entirely gone.
Okay. Thank you. Any fever?
No, just like really weird cramps.
Cramps where?
In my stomach area.
Cramps. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you say it was a bug, not something that you ate.
I actually don't know if it was. I just called it a bug. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Did anyone else get it?
No.
No. Okay. And had you eaten anything unusual before getting it?
I don't think so.
Okay, probably was a bug, but but you weren't feverish. No change in temperature or anything like that.
No.
Okay. Resolved, and since then no more problems.
No, none at all.
Perfect. Okay.
And that's like the first cold I've really caught this year.
Okay.
So.
The first sort of illness. All right. Good. Okay. Well, not good, but you know what I mean. All right. So. You mentioned last time this wasn't a major thing, but there was a little bit of period pain. Has that recurred? Have you had more of that?
No, not more. It does seem to be like it's always been just concentration on the first day anyway. They haven't been. It hasn't been so bad that I don't want to go to work or anything this time. Like I can soldier through it.
Good. All right, but still on the first day, a little bit of discomfort.
Yeah.
Still,
yeah.
okay.
A little bit. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
No, probably not as much as before though.
It's like I don't think we gave it a score out of 10 or whatever last time, so difficult to quantify. Did you have to use painkillers?
No.
Okay, you're not. I don't think you did last time either. So.
No, I think even if it probably is the pain level that I would have some, I just don't.
Yeah, tend to avoid it unless you absolutely have to.
Habit, so.
Yeah, sure. All right, now I am hoping that because last time you were able to go walking again, which is great, and function shopping. Are you back to normal functioning now, would you say?
Yes, other than the recent
bout
fatigue
of fatigue
thing,
post stomach thing.
I've been great, just fine walking. Didn't even have to think about it as an issue anymore.
Good, that's how it should be.
Yeah, I know. Christmas I went on walks as usual.
That's great. So no more having to think about walking, which is important. Sounds good. All right. So I think. What else did we have? I think those are all the main things. I presume you've not had any chest pain.
No.
Excellent. And I think that the headaches were mainly around the eyes, weren't they? So that they seem to have resolved.
Yeah, I think that got a lot better straight away when I changed the brightness on the computer and was trying to take more breaks and like, do the stretches in the
That's
kitchen.
really important in your line of work, so you can take that one to the bank, so that's good. All right, so let's just go over the few homeworky bits then. So the blue light stuff, are you using blue light filters?
I put it on night mode, so potentially.
That's it. That's exactly right. Exactly right. And on devices, I think we said at all times. Are you doing any of the meditation? Just sort of 1 to 3 minute meditations?
I have some nights, so I got a bit lazy in that I do it when I'm lying in bed.
That's fine.
Actually, another therapist mentioned to me that I need to be doing it, and then it reminded me. I was like, I'm really not. I keep putting off the meditation the most.
Well, okay, here's the thing. And my 2 suggestions would be, firstly, don't make it into a huge should, because that'll kind of it really negatively weights it. But secondly, I think I've said this to you before, it's one of my favourite sayings, set a low bar and stick to it, right? Yeah. So if it's like, oh, I've got to do this 5 minute, just make it 1 minute. Just make it as low as possible, and then fix it to a particular routine. So for me, I know it's when I start getting ready for bed, that's when I'll sit down and do my meditation, or I do my teeth and then my meditation. So it's part of my...
It's like habit stacking.
Yeah, exactly that, habit stacking. So it becomes part of the fabric of your daily reality. So two major points. If you're finding you're resisting, make it easier. Make it smaller, shrink it, on the principle that it's better to do your teeth every day for 30 seconds than it is to do it once a week for 5 minutes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like same diff. So and often with the meditation, once you start, if you are really stressed, sometimes you'll want to go on for longer, and sometimes you won't. Sometimes you'll be like, oh, that's enough. But just the principle. So play with that. But that's great. It's fantastic that you've been doing it. So that is not
definitely not enough.
Well, I don't know what's enough. Do you know what I mean? It's just like building in a new thing. So.
Yeah. I like the idea of trying to do it with like teeth brushing or something though. Because definitely wouldn't forget it that way.
Yeah, so to hook it to something, make it part of the day, and then just make the sort of barrier to entry much lower, so it's like a much lower thing, and then because it's like the same principle with an exercise routine. Everybody tries to I'm gonna get myself in shape, and they go to the gym and try and do it, and then it's like within a few weeks they're like, I'm not going anymore. Whereas if they just said, I'm gonna do 5 minutes of stretches every day, and then maybe if I feel like it, I'll do more. That would, do you know what I mean?
It's more sustainable.
Totally, and build from where you are at. It's sort of anyway. That's fantastic that you've actually been doing some, because you didn't used to.
It's
so
not
that's great.
zero.
No. So that's a 100% improvement from previous. So that's great. And are you still maintaining a little bit of dark chocolate and blueberry intake?
Blueberries more so than dark chocolate.
Okay, fine.
Only because I ran out at one point, and then
Fine.
there's only like one specific Sainsbury's where I can find the brand, and I had to go back and get that. But I'm back in the habit now. It's more on weekdays because I have it as like part of my work routine for lunch. But blueberries I am so good at. Like,
excellent.
They're so easy because you can get them like anywhere.
Okay.
I just have them with yogurt every morning, like as my wake up routine.
That is a good and healthy addition. So
Yes.
excellent. All right. So dark chocolate, sort of a few times a week.
Yeah.
Well, that's
I do really like it now.
Good.
It's so weird that the first time I had it, I was like, this is
so
bitter.
Yeah.
But I ended up liking the bitterness
Yes.
over time. It's weird.
Well, that's interesting because there's they've actually done studies, because obviously dark chocolate has a bit of caffeine in it. It's got more theobromine in, which is this other stimulant. It's not as, it doesn't wake you up as much as caffeine, but there's a couple of studies now on theobromine and cognition, like that show that I think it's in. This is gay. I'll do the sciencey
really
bit. Why not? Okay,
interesting.
cool, good. Okay, because I can go off on tangents. But in the Petri dish, theobromine seems to increase the amount of BDNF, which is brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which is this compound that encourages nerve cells to grow new projections, new axons. It basically encourages nerve cells to grow.
Right.
And so theobromine actually increases the production of that in nerve cells in the Petri dish.
Okay.
But they've actually done a small human trial where they gave humans, I think, just straight up theobromine, not dark chocolate, but theobromine for a month or so, and measured the amount of BDNF in, I can't remember if it was their blood or their spinal cord fluid or whatever, but they measured the amount of BDNF and it went up with the theobromine, and then after a month it was still higher than baseline. It had gone down. So in other words, because there's long been a suspicion that dark chocolate is good for cognition, because they've done brain imaging studies showing that it improves blood flow to the brain, and we know that the antioxidants in it, the polyphenols, improve blood flow and reduce inflammation in blood vessels. But now there's this little study showing that the theobromine in it might actually encourage like repair of damaged neurons or new nerve outgrowth in the brain. So that's super cool. So it is actually a sort of a brain stimulant. But the initial tangent, that was the second tangent I thought of. The first tangent is that any food with caffeine in it, and dark chocolate does contain some caffeine, people just get to like it. They've done studies where they've flavoured foods with a bit of caffeine, and because it's got that little neuronal tickle, a little bit of pleasure circuitry tickling, people actually get to like the flavour because it's got the caffeine in it.
I guess that's what happens with coffee.
Yeah, exactly. Because obviously the actual flavour of coffee is pretty rank. You know, the first time you taste it as a kid, it's like, oh, but then people get habituated to it because they're like, oh, caffeine. So it's kind of tasty caffeine is the vibe there.
I mean, the same happened the first time I had green tea. Actually, I don't think I liked it originally. I forced myself to keep drinking it because
and then eventually
I thought it was healthy, and now I'm addicted. I love the taste. That's so interesting.
That's what happens. So I mean, the thing about it's like almost like choose your. I'm not going to say addictions because addictions is a hardcore word, but it's like choose your habituations. Let's say it's like a milder version, because I think with something like dark chocolate, it's a fairly positive substance to become habituated to, because all the science says it does good things for blood pressure and cognition and whatnot. So,
Great snack.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that you're having it a few times a week is pretty perfect, because this is my final tangent, then I'll shut up and get on with it. But we've got good. I think there's a few studies now where they've looked at life expectancy, and sort of they found that dark chocolate is one of those substances which is associated with a lower relative risk of dying from all causes. They call it all-cause mortality.
Right.
So relative risk doesn't mean absolute risk. It doesn't, but it means relative to if you didn't eat it. So to people who don't eat it.
Right.
But it's quite significant. It means like it's a 34% reduction in relative risk from all-cause mortality from some studies. So that just means if you eat dark chocolate, and that's just 2 or 3 times a week, it will make you less likely to die, all else being equal, than if you didn't, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah, so it's like a all-around positive to eat it.
And it's particularly from from heart disease and from cancers were two of the things they found. So
oh wow, they say that about green tea as well sometimes.
Green tea is very similar because they think it's the procyanidins, the type of compounds in them called flavonols, which are very similar kinds of antioxidant. So yeah, it's really groovy. Okay, anyway, right.
Yeah, it's so interesting. All these it feels like superpowers a bit. Like which potions do you take?
But they're just little tweaks. I don't regard them as superfoods because that's mythical. It's just like it's just the idea that every food that you eat is a cocktail of different chemicals, and some of those chemicals are potentially helpful, some of them are neutral, and some of them are potentially not so helpful.
Yeah.
So it's just like with everything in life, if you can skew everything towards stuff that is more net positive, that will gradually enhance longevity and avoid the things which are slightly skewed towards more net negative. So I think the key to it is if you can make all of your pleasures skewed towards more net positive, you're winning. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Like everyday choices are going to pile up.
Exactly, exactly. So it's not about becoming an ascetic and giving stuff up and going to live on a mountain and drinking yak butter or whatever. I think, whatever. Anyway, right. Not that you were planning to do that, but... So,
I mean, I probably like the butter.
Years. Okay. All right. So, good. No, but all good. This all sounds good. So, I mean, I think there's no... I'm not going to herb you up again because basically... things have been okay. I think what I'll do is I'll have a little think after this and maybe suggest you some herbs in a tea that you could DIY and then have on hand if the fatigue or dizziness comes back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so you've got a toolkit.
Yeah, and I love tea.
Cool, all right.
Yeah,
Really?
and I also still have the elderberry. Is it elderberry?
Elderberry yes.
Drink as well that you said.
Perfect.
When I did have the tummy bug, I was trying to have that.
Oh, elderberry is brilliant for viral infections. So it's really, really good, particularly for respiratory tract stuff.
Okay.
So it would really help colds, flus, anything, COVID, anything virally. We don't know for 100% for COVID, but we know from the lab that it contains anti-COVID compounds.
Okay.
So definitely in the laboratory, elderberry contains compounds which prevent COVID getting into cells, so that's good.
Yeah.
And it also, we know from lots of studies in humans, it reduces the length and severity of respiratory tract infections, including flus and whatever. So there's... Anyway, whatever, I won't get... That's a whole other tangent. Yes, definitely. But it might not help so much with tummy bugs unless it was if it was definitely a virus that was causing it. It might help, but elderberry is ever so slightly laxative, so it might have been a swings and roundabouts situation.
Fair enough. Okay, that's good to know.
And it's very good to have in the cupboard because if anyone, you or anyone in the household gets a cold or flu, you just start boshing it straight away.
Swigging the elderberry.
Yes. All right, let's do the pulse and blood pressure. Does that sound right? My maths is terrible.
40, I've got to 47.
17 times 4, that's 40, 28, no, so that's 68, which is good anyway. Yeah, my math is not my strong point at all.
It's my least favourite subject.
Oh, really? I'd quite liked it, I was just a bit rubbish at it.
That's the saddest one.
I know, I was good at art and English, and I was okay at biology, but maths I was terrible. But I did kind of like it. I was really upset when I got moved down a set because I couldn't keep up with the homework.
Oh, this is just tragic. At least I just hated it from the get-go.
No, I had delusions of proficiency in maths.
So we've got calculators now anyway, we don't need it.
It's fine, it's fine. Perfect, thank you. 108/68, which is a nice low normal blood pressure.
That's
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Okay.
Yeah, I think I always come out as like the lower end. So
yeah, which is great.
quite constant.
You've got wiggle room, so
Yeah.
should it be needed. Great. Okay, so I think, well, obviously this is our last session, so you know where I am should you need me.
Yeah.
No, so all good. So what I'll do, I'll put I'll put a little prescription, a tea prescription together, email it to you on Monday. If I think of any other bits of homework that might help, but I think for now, just keep on with the meditation, low bar, keep it simple, a little bit every day.
Yeah.
Keep on with those little dietary bits, the blueberries, dark chocolate, and carry on.
Keep up all the past homework.
keep up all the past homework. Yeah, exactly. And but do let me know if any. I wouldn't expect it. It does sound like it was a one-off. I'm going to assume stomach bug, but just let me know if any digestive gubbins happens again.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.